break from Barcelona prep with some standard on Arena instead. Just because I'm a bit burnt out playing lots of Modern and Modern Horizons, need to do something a bit different. Trying to play some of this Esper Hero list. I won the Fandom Legends event on Thursday with Esper Hero. It was just BBD's list. I don't have a huge amount of experience with this archetype, but I really enjoy it. Kind of want to play some more of it, so I've copied BBD's latest list from his article. Gonna play a few matches of it and see how it goes. I'm a bit torn. I think the Scapeshift matchup is quite bad, so I don't really want to face it, but I also do want to face it to get a better feel for like what's important and how it plays out, so I can maybe, you know, edit the deck if needed. I know the Scapeshift decks are really popular at the moment. Strasky was like destroying with it on stream earlier today. Seemed very, very strong. You think Deputy, oh that's a nice ad, and you can bounce it and keep getting rid of the tokens. I like that suggestion, Cambo. Right, this is a nice hand. Hero into Tef. Can't really complain. Seems like a Scapeshift deck. It looks like a Scapeshift deck and gains 1 life off its lands like a Scapeshift deck. Ooh, maybe it's Scapeshift Elementals? You can actually fight over the big Scapeshifts with Little Tef and Deputy. Yeah, that makes sense, Cambo. Do I like the Esper lists with or without Hero more? I used to prefer the ones without Hero, but I think the Hero adds like some decent pressure at the moment. There's like some amount of pressure to end the game against a lot of the decks in Standard at present. You thought I snap kept to 1 lander. That would be a thing I do, to be fair. Alright. Sure, we have lands in our deck somewhere. Hey Avery. Hey Kalanaka. Yeah, that's a good one. I do have this Despark. Maybe I should have held up Despark if I'm scared of Omnath. Then I get to like kill it with the trigger on the stack to save my hero. It might be more impactful than just like playing out a second hero. It means we fall behind in tempo less as well as not getting Flame Tongue Carbued. Yeah, I don't think I'm currently demonic tutoring every turn, Dokamoy. I don't get that impression. I've demonic tutored a lot in my life. I'm not sure this is what it looks like. Alright. Right. Yes, I take the Crisis, question mark? I don't know exactly how I win this. Oh, Og, thank you so much for the 4-month resub. Glad Twitch told you that. It's good to have you back. Thank you for the continued support. Thought Erasure into Concede is the play. Yeah. I mean, this is good for us, right? The opponent just doesn't have that many spells left now. If I draw a land after this, I get to take the Crisis. I think we're in an okay position, honestly. If they don't draw a good card for a turn or two, I think we can be in an okay position here. I get my hero back. Now I've got the 4th land, so I can take the Crisis. I think we're actually doing fine. Opponent's life total is also really low. It's not going to take much to kill him. Alright, no follow-up elemental, please. I said please. Yeah. That is an elemental. That is accurate, lassie. Right. Any new additions to the mono blue list? I might play some of it later. I've not played mono blue in about a week. Been doing other things with my time. This is kind of tough. So I've got 2 options. I can steal the Crisis and try and stabilize and like grind out the game. Or I can Oath of Kaya their face and attack them to 3. And just like cross my fingers. We don't normally smoke on this stream. But here I am, I guess. Alright. Shoot you, my friend. Mono blue hero. I wouldn't recommend putting Hero of Precinct One in a monocolor deck. Doesn't sound like the best synergy in the world. If I'm being honest. Yeah, I think that's probably going to be a bit slow, Socrasta, though we do have a chump blocker. Alright, that's going to be too slow. We just have to rip that off right now. We can also draw a land. If we draw a land, we can go Hero to Teferi. Then maybe that's good enough. There will probably be some mono blue later. I think Esper for now. Oh, this gets a counter. That's actually really problematic, because now the Crisis is lethal. So we do just need the Oath right now. Right. I believe I am dead. I can go Hero to Teferi. Teferi bounce Crisis? Then I'm not dead. And I get extra redraws towards that Oath of Kaya. They get to gain life off the Crisis, though. Means I'm just dead, right? Because they get to gain life off the Crisis. I'm gonna assume opponent is smart enough to gain life when I bounce their Crisis back. Alright. I'm gonna take a look at BBD Cyborg Guide a sec, because I am still learning how to play this deck. So, according to him, right, we have, opponent has things I need Narset against the Crises, so I'm going to be keeping the Narsets in. Definitely want these. So... yeah, Teferi seems kind of bad, and Guardmage seems not great. I had a hostage taker, so that just leaves me... yes, I can hostage take and I can chump block with both. Yeah, that's fair. That's a good point, lassie. Yeah. That's right, Cass. Yeah, I should have done that. So I need to cut a few cards here. I think Teferi is quite bad in this matchup. I can cut an Elite Guardmage. I believe Narset is good. Maybe trim a hero. It's probably fine. Also just trim another Guardmage though. Yeah, I think the Guardmages suck here. It's possible I just want all of them out of my deck. It is so derpy. Yeah, Cass is definitely right that I should have gone Hostage Take your Crisis, just like cross my fingers. It needs a lot to go right, but... Right, obviously we need to hit our land drops. This hand is quite good if we get there. And I've never been known to miss my land drops. Yeah, it plays 2 Citadel now, which I like. I think Citadel is extremely good. I was very impressed by the card. What a match, honestly. What a match. Oh my god, I want to scream. They didn't even play a creature for me to fire a kill spell at. Hey Zombab. What am I discarding? Maybe I should work on those demonic tutors. Teferi, yeah. Big Teferi, I guess. I guess that's what we're discarding. Pretty sad thing to discard. Wow, they really want these Veil of Summers up. I mean, I'm still just going to try and kill that thing. Interesting. Oh, maybe it's Negate we have up instead of Veil then. They just desperately don't want me to resolve a Planeswalker. I really want to save this for Nissa. If I draw a land, I can just oath this. I'm just going to let this happen. Oh my god, that's the max punish too. It means I'm going to end up taking a hit off this Omnath, right? Yeah. Well, obviously I'm Thought Erasure here. So I'm not worried about this Mass Minute. The Veil of Summer is quite obnoxious, as is the Nissa. I believe I take the Veil. Even if they resolve Nissa next turn, I get to kill her, and then hopefully hit my 4th land on time to sweep the board and kill a land in the process. This seems reasonable. Obs doesn't play with Hero, but as someone who owns several Lilianas and no Big Tefs, you think I could sub Big Tef for Liliana or make a... Yeah, the deck would still be fine. Big Tef is like the best thing you can have in that slot for sure, but, you know, as long as like you've got some powerful cards in the deck, you're going to win games with it. Like, I've seen people play Ugin in the deck before. Oh my god. Did I use up all my luck on Thursday? God, I can't even Oath of Kaya the Rootbound Crag anymore. I have to... Of course, Oath of Firing the Rootbound Crag would have required it. Oh my god. What a match, honestly. What a life we lead. Alright, onwards. We were like, I think we were like 8 cards deep by that point, Sacrasta. Yeah, BBD only putting 10 lands in his new list is a really bold take. I haven't seen that sort of approach to standard deck building before, but here we are, I guess. Okay. I will keep this hand. It is very unexciting. However, we are going to make land drops beyond land number 2, and that is exciting, chat. I like it when I hit my 3rd land drop on turn 3. Here it is, a strong strategy. Ooh. The Raveler of Time himself. Classic hero into Narset curve. It is strong. What the deck was made to do. Llanowar Elf, yep. Alright. Let's see what we find off this Narset. 10th Oath of Kaya. I guess I can just Oath of Kaya the Llanowar Elf, and that's fine. I don't want to cast the hero this turn. I definitely want to cast one of my 10 million free mana spells. So, because then I get to 2-drop plus 3-drop next turn. Chance to hit a land in 3 drawers after keeping a 2-lander is 84% in a land with 26 lands. Yeah, you keep 2-landers like 100% of the time then. Like, how much is mulliganing to 6 hurting your win percentage versus like the 16%? Narset's strong. See, the hero into Narset curve is strong. On the play, thing is, even if we missed on the play for 1 turn, that was still fine, because we had a bunch of 2-mana things to do, and Kaya's are have to catch us up, right? Why am I boarding this? I definitely want Duresses. God, I find this stuff so much easier with open deck lists. I think Guardmage just always sucks in these matchups, though. I'm just going to get those out of the deck, regardless. They have Llanowar Elf. I don't know what else they have. I guess we definitely want these Noxious Grasps regardless. Teferi's not great in these sorts of matchups. The only real thing Teferi does here is turn off Fail. I guess I just run this and see more of their deck. And depending on what they have, I might board in like Elderspell or Kaya's Wrath. This is a fine starting point. Might even like board down on Desparks, potentially. Yeah, I mean Thought Erasure is like getting to draw 3 cards, right? Because you get the Surveil towards the 3rd land. Which is like functionally drawing a 3rd card if like all you're worried about is drawing your 3rd land drop. Yeah, there was a 3-drop Tef to help draw towards lands too, which makes a difference. they have Veil of Summer in hand because they shocked on turn 1. Interesting. Oh, I know, right, Mimi? Strong agree. Strong agree. That art is nice. I have not done that yet, Sagrasta. I haven't really had time to mess around much in Standard. Like, I've always had stuff I've either been doing lots of modern practice at the moment, or I've had stuff I've like actively needed to be learning for Standard. Alright, well, Veil of Summer looking impressive as always. Oh my god. I don't know what I'm most excited for from the new set. I'm really excited just for the flavor though. I'm like so fed up on this like nickel Bolas trying to destroy everything, Eldrazi are back, etc, etc. I'm very excited just to like get to chill in a nice relaxed new plane. Nice. I have to run into the Veil at some point, right? If they have another one. I believe I'm just going to lead on Thought Erasure because I would like to get my token with Hero here. Oh, sure. That worked out. That didn't work out. To be fair, this is kind of garbage against Narset, so whatever. Don't really care. Oh. Yeah, I'm super happy that invitational cards are back. That's so sweet. It's very, very exciting. Alright, get to draw a Narset soon. Narset's pretty good. If they draw a Teferi, I look really silly. Whatever though. Still get a token out of this. At least I'll like get my hostage taker back to take a crisis with or something. It's not the end of the world. It means I can go Scorn plus Guardmage next turn if they just play a Mana Dork or something. I need to win in it. I'm gonna try my best, Emily. I can't make any promises though. I'm gonna try my best. Alright. Earning myself some experience. Deck is nice. He's got to be a red card, yeah. I assume so. If I did manage to win Worlds in February, I would like insist that I'd want my card to either be a Gruul card or a mono blue card, I guess. Because Gruul card is like my personality, and I guess mono blue is apparently my brand somehow. Hello. Oh, I'm very hyped for Eldrin. I'm just like excited for things, you know, that for like relaxed, nice fantasy environments, you know, without all the darkness and seriousness of it all that we've had recently. Sounds great to me. Wow, get wrecked, Autumn. I mean, I was always going to play that Shockland tapped, so like that Syncubate was always going to get me, but here we are. Here we are. Unfortunately, bad mono blue is not particularly beatable for our deck. At least not when we draw like this, anyway. Like, how do we ever beat the 4/4? This deck also just sucks against Rogue Mystic if you don't have a little Tef. Alright, well. Just gonna maximize my mana use here. And then maybe I can double free drop next turn. Like, I can't just not do anything, because then I lose to the 4/4 is the problem. That isn't really an option. If 5 mana open. I guess it's like, could just be Spectral. I just have to keep jamming spells. This deck is like very different to mono blue. Against mono blue, you can like afford to wait if they aren't pressuring you. Against this deck, if you don't jam spells, they just resolve a 4/4 and the game ends on the spot. God. So if they have the 4/4, I want Despark. But if they don't, we want Teferi. I guess I just don't want to die to the 4/4, and like Narset's gonna hopefully draw me another card anyway. It's really awkward if they have Spectral Sailor, but which I think they might, because they shocked themselves. Yeah, this is also going to be very hard to beat. This matchup feels atrocious. Why didn't they draw... They're like that desperate to hold open a counterspell? Interesting. I'm not going to use this Despark on the Frilled Mystic. Believe these are the blocks. Alright, that's not the worst card. Okay. Means I can kill the Sailor. So I need to be able to kill the 4/4. I also need to be able to kill the Sailor. I probably still just have... I don't know. If I jam this and they counter it, there's a good chance I can just kill the Sailor, which is nice. So these decks don't typically run Spell Piss. Why did I trade the hero? Because I couldn't let Narset die, right? And I wanted to get the Cutthroat out of play before it grew anymore. Because the Cutthroat is terrifying. Alright, I think I just have to hope to draw an Oath of Kaya. I can't really let this Spectral Sailor live. Otherwise I'll just get buried in card advantage. Nice. So Syncopate is 5, so if we play this, we actually play around Syncopate. Kinda need this to resolve. Cutthroat is getting very scary. Yes, I know I'm forced to Despark a Frilled Mystic. It means if they ever draw a 4-4, I'm just like 100% dead. But I'm also 100% dead if I take 10 next turn. Yeah. That was kind of miserable. Okay. We'll look at the sideboard guide for this one, because I have no idea what we're meant to do against the flash deck. So apparently against the flash deck we bring in Duresses, makes sense. Disfigures, Despark, and Kaya's Wraths. Kaya's Wraths seem awesome. And then we take out Hero, an Oath, 2 Narsets, a Guardmage, and these Citadels that seem very bad. Honestly, with 6 discard spells in the deck, maybe you get to board in some Enter the God Eternals in the matchup. That kills the 4-4 and probably kills the 2-1 all of the time. It's probably just too clunky though. Expensive spells against the Syncopate deck. Alright, this hand seems awesome. Double Thought Erasure. Hopefully they don't have a Veil. I actually didn't use a sideboard guide for fandom, but I'm using one now. Alright, well I have to get through the Veil at some point. I just have to suck it up and do it now. Like, it doesn't get any easier waiting around on that one, right? I'm going to play around Syncopate just because I want to know what's in their hand, so I can have a better idea what to play around. I believe I'm dead. I guess I take the Sinister Sabotage, just hope they don't find a 4th land for a couple turns. Like, I don't know. I don't know how I ever beat this Night Pack Ambusher is half the problem. Even if they... Whatever. This is the plan and I'm sticking to it. It's like a cheap spell, so it's kind of appealing. I think I have to get rid of it though. It just gets buried by Frilled Mystics. I need to find a plan against this stuff, like a Teferi or something. So I'm going to work on the assumption that if they draw a 4th land for the next 2 or 3 turns, I just lose the game. So I should pretend that that cannot happen. In which case, even though it means my Oath of Kaya is probably not going to do very much, I should just take this Cutthroat with my Hostage Taker so I can start applying pressure. Right. That's probably too obvious, Scooter. Because the thing is, they can ambush us with a Frilled Mystic then quite happily. Alright. I guess I'm also going to take the Spectral Sailor hostage. Especially since Spectral Sailor is quite good against Frilled Mystic. Right. I win. I wouldn't go that far. If they draw a 4th land this turn, I think they're still probably favoured. Like, I think they're favoured here. I think saying that I win just because I drew a 4th land is a little silly. The thing is, now they get to resolve an ambusher, and I don't have a clean answer to it currently. Maybe I attack with the hostage takers and hope they ambush a hostage taker. I think that's the plan. I think I have to. Alright. Now I can draw a card, play the Cutthroat. Yes, it's possible I find a Despark, so I should just draw a card now. Hello, friends. Alright. Well, they're gonna start making free freeze. Like, as I say, I think they're currently favoured. Okay, now they are not favoured. Now, we can win this game. Oh, we want to cast that. Does this only if you didn't cast a spell, right? So we might as well resolve this whilst we know they don't. Oh, but if they essence capture this, we're happy. Yeah. I guess you're right, Scooter. Denies them info, right? So I guess I wanted to Teferi because I need to force them to Frilled Mystic this turn. Well, the other option is I can Despark in their upkeep, because if they counter it, they don't get a wolf. If they don't counter it, I resolve my Teferi. Okay. And can tuck the ambusher then. And I get a counter on my Cutthroat too. I like this plan. I only really get punished if they have like 2 cheap counters. I think otherwise it's just like kind of all upside. Ugh. Alright, sure, I guess I just need to make sure this resolves then. This matchup feels like a nightmare. I guess it's just because we haven't had 3 mana Teferi, but I think Esper Hero is an underdog to Mono Blue. And this is like kinda the same thing. Okay. Just like, we just have expensive clunky spells against their like cheap counter spells, right? Is the problem? Yeah, it's like kind of the same thing, except Tyrant Scorn doesn't answer every threat in their deck. Yep. Alright. Interesting. I have a lot of time on my hands, I sure do. So I can cast this, and then I get to steal the ambusher when they counter this. Which I guess is the plan. Hey, Bluebee. Good to see you. No! Ah! This is so awful. I I guess it's also just that they've drawn all their 4-drops this game, and the 4-drops are the cards that are, like, particularly good against us, right? Have you decided on your modern deck yet, or are you still unsure? I am almost certainly playing Jund. Very much looking forward to it. I think the deck is quite good. Hey, Muffin. Huh. Can I try and go for lethal here? If Little Tef... No, if Little Tef comes down... I guess they... Yeah, maybe you're right. It wouldn't have made much of a difference, but... My thinking was that if the Night back Ambusher was the only thing that really mattered, and I wanted to, like, get it off the board guaranteed. But you're probably right. The Little Tef is more important. They get a Wolf and a Mystic to block, yeah. I mean, I can, like... If I draw, like, a Tyrant Scorn, I can kill a blocker. Except they have a Frilled Mystic. Alright, I just have to block things to keep myself alive, right? Makes sense. Arena. Thank you. Oh my god, those emotes. Renin 6 is like Bob except good instead of garbage. Strong agree. Renin 6 is a delight. Alright then. Need them to counter this for some reason. What's happening, chat? I'm confused. I am confused and concerned. I mean, this Frilled Mystic's also going to be challenging, but opponent has a negate 100%. 100% has a negate. Am I meant to attack for one? It's like really bad then if like... I don't think attacking for one is likely to ever matter. I guess if they go like counter my Wrath and then I draw another Wrath the next turn, I feel really bad about not getting to chump block with the Spectral Sailor. But I'm also probably not winning that game anyway. No! Yeah. Alright. Well then. What else are they gonna have there? I know, right, Scooter? Good thing we got them to 5. It's fine. There definitely wasn't a Kaya's Wrath as the very next card in our deck. GG's. The Flash deck is sweet. I've not played much Standard the last couple weeks, so I've not really played against it much. Seems like it puts your opponent in a lot of binds. Danto Vanguard, huh? Meet my friend Hero of Precinct One. You really hope Eldraine gives us a good replacement for Merfolk Trickster? Yeah, for the blue-green flash deck. For sure. It seems like an important one to get. I guess Teferi can just bounce this. Buys me some time. It's like a bit weird. I kind of wanted to like save Teferi to get a token off this. Whatever. God's willing. Nope. So they are playing Feather, I assume. Yike. This is kind of fine. The token I get off my hero trades with the token from the war boss. It does mean using up my Tyrant Scorn, which makes Feather a really scary card. Oh, can't God's Willing when Teferi's on board, that's true. Look at me, so familiar with how all the new cards work. I play so much looser when I'm not playing in a tournament and there's nothing on the line. Alright. Why would I not block with my 1/1? So if I block with this, this dies, right? They're trying to tempt me into blocking with this so they can Defiant Strike. That makes sense. Well, I'm just going to block with this instead. Okay. If you could please not have an answer to my Oath of Kaya, that would be wonderful. Rip. Not rip. The literal opposite of rip. There's one thing you've learned from hanging out in judge chats, playing some events, is just ignore the statics on walkers and let the full... Oh my god. I do not recommend that strat, Mimi. I recommend the opposite of that. This is a nice one. On 20 life. Wait, what? Why is it doing this? No attacks. No, I want to... Wait. No. I want to cast the thing off the top. When did the layout change for this? Alright. Move to main. Stop on my second main. Why is it like this? This is so weird. I've never seen this happen before. Is it just because I don't have anything in my hand I can do? Anyway, Citadel was busted, apparently. Why was it showing a fake library? Oh yeah, and then it's so strange. I don't know what was up there. That's a very weird bug. Jeez. So I want Duresses, Noxious Grasps to kill Feathers. Enter the God Eternals. Despark seems bad. Narset and Citadel seem pretty bad. You've had it happen too? Yeah. Something. I am very, very confused about what was going on there. Do I want the Disfigure? It kills Warboss and Vanguard. Wrath gets around protection. Yeah. 4 mana to 1/1 with my opponent's creature, though, seems kind of miserable. They very rarely have more than one creature on board against you, in my experience. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I do just want this, but I'm going to try out this approach. I could see a world in which you could just, like, cut the heroes, assuming your opponent's going to have shocks in, and then have, like, Disfigures and Kaisrafs. I'm actually going to try that. I don't know if this is correct. I'm going to try it out. Because my opponent's going to have some amount of removal in for my heroes. And this way the removal is like a lot less impressive. They have too much time to just draw things. Nah, I think if you manage to stabilize with a 3-mana Teferi in play, it makes all their decks so much worse that you just top deck dramatically better than them as a result. It's like my intuition on things anyway. Hey Amy, great to see you. Arcanist. So obviously the Arcanist has to die. I guess I just go ahead and do this. I'm a bit worried about them resolving at Feather now, but I can probably fight through a Feather okay. I have like a Thought Erasure to make sure they don't have anything too spicy to pair with the Feather. Aww. Thanks for saying that. I'm glad you enjoy my content so much, Lauren. Really appreciate it. So I can clean up the War Boss pretty well because of the Kaisraf. And even like the Oath of Kaya buys me a ton of time against the tokens. And I think I want to make sure these discard spells don't whiff. So I'm just going to go ahead and fire off the discard spells, I think. Before we like both enter top deck mode and then like suddenly these don't do anything for the rest of the game. I can use the Thought Erasure to dig for that 4th land anyways. Cool. How am I? I'm doing great. Yeah, life is good at the moment. I'm very busy at the moment. Kind of hard to keep on top of everything as a result, but I am quite happy. I'm just going to fire off this Kaisraf, clean up these tokens. I have a Hostage Taker for the follow-up threat anyway. Alright, time to stare at each other. Okay. Opponent's probably not going to try and go in for anything until they have like... I don't know, it's tough. They want to have like a God's Willing or something up before they go for something. So because they know we have removal in our hands since we're not doing anything, but they also need to do something. They also like have pressure to commit to the board before we draw a 3-mana Teferi, right? Also, they could just flood. Also a thing that happens. Yeah, some of the new effects are really nice that they've been adding. The Nightmare is Gideon. Oh, that's a really good point, Kanye. Against Amy, when we were playing Fandom Legends, I boarded in both my Elderspells against her, because I felt like my deck was kind of like fundamentally favored against hers, apart from if she draws Gideons. I don't know if I boarded in both. I think I boarded in one, but I felt like the Gideons were like how I was losing the games. But that was a lot easier to do against her list because it was open deck lists, and we don't know how many Gideons my opponent has in their deck. Whereas, like, she had like 3 or something. If my opponent only has like 1 or 2, I really don't want to do that. I don't know. Oh yeah, Yeoman is smart. Gideon is very good, I think, in this deck. So in these control mirrors, the important thing is to hit your land drops. so that you have more mana than your opponents. At what point do I cast a 2/3? Become the aggro player. This is so absurd. This is just the best game of Magic, honestly. Alright, now they're gonna cycle their Defiant Strikes, and I'm gonna be sad. God's willing, I dare you. This seems like a good Magic card. That answers your question, it sure does. It was a good Disfigure. Yeah, we can do that at some point. I'm not really in any rush. Oh my god. I guess I could have, like, minus to play around that. But then Teferi dies to a Goblin. Which doesn't sound terribly exciting to me. Alright, currently we're losing the decking war, but we have got this Enter the God Eternals to help with the decking war. Fry hits Hostage Taker, it's kind of busted. Alright, well, I guess I get a 4/4 regardless off this. I kind of want to try and cash in this Oath, though. There are like a bunch of things Oath misses on. Okay, I'm going to fire off the Oath first. Please don't have God's Willing. I guess the one downside of this is I don't get a 4/4 to block with. Also, this would have, like, undone the Scries, too. Hopefully they name white. Ah. Wait, what? Okay, then. You know what? We take those. I guess they're playing around Teferi, right? By naming white. What did we mill? We milled a Feather. Nice. Now we have Fret in play. Easy. Okay, if they have a God's Willing, they've already through 2, but also we're through half our decks at this point. This is a little terrifying. That was a very good draw. Alright. So this means I can clear a God's Willing out the way if they have one. I guess they just get to cast it in response. Maybe we're just, like, super dead on board to a God's Willing. This is fine. Even makes my Disfigure alive, which is kind of nice. Now if they cast another spell in response, I get to Disfigure in response. Aw, thanks Coralax. Really appreciate that. I think Sleep is actually a reasonable card to be playing in mono blue at the moment. I think it's like fine to play a copy. I think like the second copy starts to get a bit awkward. But like, honestly, that could be fine too. I can just take a feather for myself now. That actually sounds delightful. Get a clock going. Obviously it's nice to use the Disfigure up on, whilst we actually have a target, whereas Hostage Taker can hit everything. But this just means we have a really nice clock. We can Disfigure Feather over and over. Such power. Oh my gosh. Now I understand why people play this card. Alright then. Ooh. That's a pretty good style to gain access to. God's Willing. Pretty scary. Probably makes the matchup a fair amount tougher. Just like the combination of Feather with God's Willing, right? Even if you have like a Teferi, they get to God's Willing in response, and then you have to have the removal spell. I do have a vault to open now. Can leave that for an untold time in the future. Yeah, I kind of feel the same about Risen Reef. This is kind of a mulligan to 6, but also keep. Yeah, as mulligans to 6 go, I will happily keep this. I can sack the first one as one of the 10 per... can you do that? Oh, you can! Sick! We got a plan. Please don't play Season of Growth. I said please. Yike. I believe we have died. This version of Feather is much scarier. No, you sack the Citadel to itself, Rodrigo. And then you get to play the second Citadel. It's powerful stuff. Yep. Shorter. Wait, that doesn't draw a card, that describes one. That one is fine. It does purr. It's a good kitty. Just deck them out. As much as the previous game against Feather was heading in that direction, I don't think that's a typical way for these games to go. This card is so impressive. Alright. I'm trying to hit this. This is like pretty awkward if they have 2 things to pump it. Otherwise, it's just great, because it means we can save our Tyrant Scorn to pair with this Teferi. Does seeing Season change my estimation of Hero post-board? If anything, it makes me feel like I need to... I guess, maybe because I need to race it, right? Like, because them resolving one is such a threat. That's reasonable. They can't actually God's Willing this. So I could just hostage it. And that gets a threat on board. Hey, Abby. I could Reckless Rage, yeah. I also kind of want to Thought Erasure to clear threats out of their hand too. So I think this is correct. Interesting. Hero. I want to find a lands more than anything, because I've got this Teferi and these Citadels. So I'm pretty happy to get rid of that. I think we're in a very good position here, despite the Season of Growth. If I get to resolve a Teferi on an empty board, I can even tuck the Season of Growth away. Or just draw cards for the Citadel. I don't know, Scooter. It's a good question. Both of them are like kind of nice, right? Getting the Season off board is pretty appealing, but also hitting our land drops for the Citadel puts us in like an amazing position. Opponents to super off it. Alright, so we definitely want Duresses. I still think I'm pretty off the idea of Hero in this matchup. Even though they have Season of Growth. I just don't think this card is good enough in the matchup. It's good against a Danto Vanguard specifically. Yeah, Noxious Grasp was very impressive in the matchup. Yeah, I just don't think this is good enough. Kinda off it. Kind of wonder if I need the Narset for card advantage. It was also good against the Season of Growth if, like, things stall out. The Enter the God Eternals actually felt kind of clunky to me earlier, but maybe it's fine. Like, Oath of Kaya only has so many things that even hits is, like, half the problem of this. Oh, that's a good question. I assume they play Defiant Strike. Defiant Strike's so good in that deck. But I don't actually know for sure. I'd be very surprised if they don't. But I guess it's harder to have enough white mana to go, like, reliably Defiant Strike on your things. They do? Awesome. I'm gonna keep this. It's only a Shockland away from being great, so... I guess not having a Thought Erasure is pretty sad, but my heart will go on. This is why you like Control better than the Hero list? I'm pretty torn on which I prefer. I think both have their, like, you know, different strengths and weaknesses. I think I like the Hero lists more against the various green decks, typically. Hero does a lot of work at, like, buying you time from Nissa. I'm just using BPD's guide. I'll post it in chat. I'm not really following it exactly, but I'm taking a look at it, see what he does. And then, like, you know, following it when it feels appropriate. Doing my own thing when it feels appropriate. Which is kind of the way you're meant to use sideboard guides anyway. So this just kills everything, right? Apart from Legion War Boss, which isn't going to be in their decks, they have Spellbreaker instead. Cool. Let's do this instead then. Oh my god, Cass, that sounds delightful. Reanimate my 4/4 Hero of Precinct One. I'm very okay with that prospect. Oh yeah, BBD is a very entertaining writer. I agree completely, Kanye. Alright, Dread Horde Arcanist, huh? Kinda just wanted Teferi here. I think it's a bit better against a God's Willing. Awesome. Sure, go ahead, Scooter. Duress is a very nice pickup. Find out what's going on over there. Yike. Oh my gosh, Scooter. Instant speed Duress is strong. Would recommend. This is also pretty strong. In fact. Good old Divination. It's like a draw 3, right? You also draw a Defiant Strike. It's way better than Divination. Kinda want to play this Teferi. Yeah, I've kept the Narsets in. Like, I do want to duress my opponent at some point, especially since this Defiant Strike's going to keep drawing them cards here. Duress and steal their feather. I'm a bit worried about what happens if they have a fry. I could certainly consider doing that. I mean, they can't God's Willing. We have a Teferi in play. I think I'm going to plus and just Noxious Grasp this. Kind of like that line the most. Just like, have the Teferi on board to answer whatever they play. Don't you just take the fray? Yeah, but then they still have a Defiant Strike. They can, like, I don't see any way to, like, if they have a fray in hand, I don't see any way to cleanly get through their whole hand and be in, like, a position that I'm happy with. I feel like I need the Teferi to, like, make enough card advantage to push back against the card advantage they're gaining. I just don't think the Hostage Taker does enough in that situation. Whereas the Teferi is like drawing me cards so I can like battle against the cards my opponent's drawing. What is better, Esper Control or Esper Hero? I don't know. I would like to know the answer to that one myself. I think they have different strengths and weaknesses, but hard to know exactly which is better. Okay. There's so many cards in hand. That is approximately what I'm saying, facts, yeah. So I need to get this feather off the board. I know I can instant speed Duress. I kind of want to Duress now, just so I have the info, so I know what I'm meant to care about. Like, I know I can instant speed this thing, but I feel like doing it now lets me know what I care about. So I care about resolving this hostage taker immediately, apparently. Cool. And then I can tuck the Season of Growth. The God's Willing's really bad with the Teferi, 3-mana Teferi in play. I think the Defiant Strike's better. I'm just going to take the Defiant Strike instead. And then we get to take the Feather. Tuck the Season of Growth. So they can't draw any more cards. Just hostage taker the Tocatli on a guard, obviously. Obviously the line. Strong line. Alright, the Dreadhorde Arcanist is really bad against 3-mana Teferi. So we're actually in a pretty good spot here. Exactly, Mimi. That's exactly what it means. Yeah, Free Fairy is busted against their deck. Free Fairy does literally everything against my opponent's deck. It's quite potent, one might say. Why wouldn't they God's Willing to keep their creature alive? Because this card has a lot of text. Alright then. Pretty good. Ooh, is this the Mastery Tree? Get that sick Blight Beetle. Narset sees a lot of play in like Legacy, Vintage, and Modern. Free Fairy sees like enough play, like not nearly as much. It's still like a played card though. But Narset is like format defining in some of the older formats, and like, you know, very good in Modern. I think this is fine. Once we like cast the Thought Erasure, it digs us towards lands. Pretty opposed to mulliganing this. We have Swamp and Island in our deck, so no matter which one I play, I'm like 50% to draw the wrong one. Alright. That sounds like an awkward conversation. Agree with you there, XDR. Hey, Dragon Gem. Alright. Would like to draw a land next turn. 84% to hit the land when we're on the draw by turn 3. Very, very reasonable hand to keep on that basis. You can Free Fairy your opponent's Riftball. There's a lot of things you can do with that card. Aw, thanks, Waka. Appreciate you. We forget about Esper Gates. The one true Esper deck. Alright. Show me what you got, opponent. Jeez. My world for a Narset. It's like, how great would Narset be here against the triple Free Fairy hand? I think Narset would have been our literal best draw other than land, but obviously we're keeping a land on top quite happily. Start running out these 2/3s. Two freeze confirmed busted. God, I really wish you didn't have to run this card due to like the aggressive decks. It always feels so mopey. It's like even worse against the green decks than Bellhorn is, because it doesn't even block Nissa lands. They just plus the Teferi. I guess that kind of makes sense. If they minus the Teferi and play a follow-up, it just dies. It just dies to my Godmage. I don't know. Calling out BBD's favorite card and I don't think Bellhorn's very good either, to be fair. I think both of them are not great. I guess I'm just casting another Godmage. If they had anything scary, they'd have cast it in their turn, right? Kinda want to hit my land drops here. Like, I think Godmage is a perfectly reasonable card, but it is a little mopey. It's probably my least favorite card in the deck, other than Basic Island. Do you play red deck wins in Standard? I played a bit of it. I played it in some of my MPL matches. I enjoy it quite a bit. I've not played it in a while though. It's been a little while since I last played red deck wins. Alright, so we're going to kill this Teferi, obviously. I'm just trying to figure out what the follow-up is. At some point I want to set up Teferi plus Thought Erasure, I assume. I could also just minus my Teferi, keep digging for land drops. Just accept I'm like spewing a Thought Erasure on a Teferi of theirs. It's like not an exciting thing to take, but because they're so bad against the Elite Guardmages. Draw step Thought Erasure, yeah, I think draw step Thought Erasure is fine. And I get to, like, if they blank on their draw, I get to kill the Teferi and start dealing with the mana dorks. I actually kinda like that. And they don't get to kill my Teferi in combat. And I have like so many cards, I don't even mind if this Teferi dies. It's like very whatever if we lose it. So we just have infinite cards in hand. Alright. Do not need another one of you. Bounce my dude next turn. Nah. I don't want to get like minor value from bouncing these guard mages. I'd rather develop the board in some way, build towards the Citadel or something. I think. It's most likely the plan anyway. I assume that we're going to be attacking my Teferi for a bit, so that we can't minus the Teferi in my next turn. Hey, Catsy. It sure does, Fax. You've got like these like modern and legacy defining cards, like Teferis and Narset, and then you have like Elite Guardmage, Despark. It's kind of amusing. Did we disconnect? Nah, opponent was just deciding whether they wanted to put the land in tapped or untapped. It's like, are they willing to pay 2 life to get 1 more damage on my Teferi? It's not really a very obvious decision, I guess. So if they plus, they're just never... I think they're just meant to minus and not bounce anything to try and draw into something powerful. So if they plus, we just like kill the Teferi over 2 turns. My opponent buys themselves time, but I think they'd much rather just find something big and threatening. So I don't want to cast the Citadel on a turn when I can't play a land off it, because it's so likely I just don't get to do anything with it. Let's tackle something quicker and run best of 1. I think best of 3, if you reckon you will win a lot, best of 3 is way better to grind in. Because your game win percentage being over 50%, like, gets even higher when it's a match win percentage, right? So the numbers just work out way better in that favor, but you probably want to, like, get to Mythic or whatever with something faster than this, most likely. Yeah, I'm just gonna take this Druid. Like, the notion that it's faster to grind in best of 1 than best of 3 is kind of a myth, I think. If you're like 60% to win a game, then you're like 65% to win a match or whatever, because of the way it multiplies. I kind of want to get the Narset down more than the Citadel. Because, like, one of the few cards I'm really scared of here is Krasis. Yeah. I want to play around Krasis. Then we can also dig for a Thought Erasure too, which is also really appealing. I don't feel like I need this Teferi when I have a Citadel coming down. I guess it's fine though. And then I might as well just kill a Mana Dork and, like, get swinging. Maybe I was meant to cash in a Teferi minus to dig for land drops and cast the follow-up. That was probably better. I'm very happy trading a Mana Dork for a Mana Dork, right? Because it means they have less mana on their next turn. And then I can just do this, so they also, again, have less mana on their next turn for, like, a mass manipulation or something. If they play an Issa, we're pretty well equipped to deal with an Issa. I don't really care if they draw one, even if it does punish us slightly for using the Tyrant scored in our turn. Oh wow, this is such a good draw. It means we can't possibly lose now. Fire off this Narset. Also a pretty good one. Play the Citadel, I just kind of don't need to. I'd almost rather not show it to my opponent. This is like a little bit gross. Just a little bit gross.
No, I am not making this up as I go.
probably be able to find an Oath next turn to end this, I assume. Haven't really seen one so far this game. Yes, those are both fine. Feel free to keep your cards, opponent. Yeah, when you can just kill them, casting Necropotence doesn't matter. I know, right? Okay, we stumbled a bit, and opponent had a fast start, but they kind of flooded, which happens when you have a lot of mana dorks in your deck, right? Gonna flood occasionally. So you definitely want these Noxious Grasps. Definitely want these Kaya's Wraths, they have so many mana dorks. Elite Guardmage was actually pretty good that game. I think the Duresses are good. Still gonna cut some. Sorry, Guardmage. I know you tried your best, but this is the world we're in now. I actually typically kind of hate Despark against these decks. It does kill Nissa, though. Like, normally they just don't even have that many targets for Despark, right? Yeah, agree, Abby. It's pretty hard to lose from that spot. Yeah, I like the idea of like a single Elderspell and just like cutting the Desparks altogether. I kind of just want to cut these Guard Mages. I know the Guard Mages were like actually pretty good that game, but I mean the other option is we're cutting lots of gold cards, so maybe Hero becomes a lot worse. We've actually cut a significant number of gold cards. This card is so good for pressuring Teferi though. It's probably still fine. Just gonna cut these Guard Mages. Hey, Fappy. Alright. Hopefully get a nice hand on the draw here. I think this is fine. Got a Duress to like make sure they don't land an early Nissa. It's a tiny bit slow, but Teferi will help us hit our land drops. Hopefully no Veil of Summer. Veil of Summer is obviously very good against this hand, but not a huge amount we can do about that one. Hey Bailey, good to see you. Interesting. I mean, I'm still just gonna go ahead and cast this if they have the Veil, whatever. My inclination is just to like run head first into Veil most of the time. Unless like you have enough breathing room you can actually... Jesus. Ha. Well then. God, taking a Nissa feels so pointless, but here we are. Please just never draw a land for the rest of the game. That's a land. Opponent not listening to my requests. At least we know they can't top deck a Nissa, it's true. It's a very good point. No land, no land, no land. Come on. Oh, thank God, that's so good for me.
Oh, I've done
entrancing melody back there, Llanowar Elf. Jesus. What a world. What a world we are living in. I might be taking the entrancing melody of this Thought Erasure in a moment. Have I heard of Free Nissa? I cannot cast it? What do you mean, Fax? I am confused as to what you refer.
Let's try this.
I guess I don't need to cast this elf yet. Yeah, oh yeah, I can just not cast it to deny the elf. Yeah, that's smart. Yola's smart. Alright, we can now answer 2 Nissas. I mean... I guess it makes sense that they have gas in hand, right? Kinda want to take this. I guess I still just take it Nissa. I'd much rather Noxious Grasp a Ceratops than a Nissa, right? Because then they don't get to animate a land in the process. Nice. Rar. Fear my mighty 2/3. Yike. I'm pretty happy I didn't cast the Llanowar Elf right about now. They don't get to draw a card off the Teferi. So this is actually kind of nice on opponent. They should have bounced the Hostage Taker to force me to recast it. Alright, start with this. That is a very good magic card. No one is reading the passives. It's true. Oh, I can still instant speed because I get to kill Teferi here. Nice.
We will meet again. Don't worry, I got you.
Taking game actions is cool. I agree.
Keep up the pace.
Oh. Okay. Opponent's off it. Alright. Play a couple more matches of this. I'm kind of enjoying it. I know a bunch of people are thoroughly off this deck by this point, but I find it very enjoyable. You get to play all the busted cards. Like... Probably just like a little bit of mono blue at the end. This one probably a mulligan. Oh my gosh, Abby. Yike. Okay. What else am I getting rid of? Hostage Taker or Teferi? Narset's a bit awkward on the draw. But also she's like one of the cards that can help us like catch back up in terms of having enough cards to function with. Narset doesn't find lands. She doesn't. She does generate card advantage though, which is kind of what we need at the moment. She's obviously a bit awkward if my opponent runs out like a 2-drop, but still think we're meant to keep the Narset for sure. Oh my god, I'm so silly. Am I allowed to shame scoop? I guess my opponent doesn't know what it... I was just so tilted by the multi-5, you know? Alright. Well... we just drew the Narset on 4. Yep. Wow. This is such a big punish too. Because the 1/1s are really good at pressuring the Narset. Alright. On a positive note, we're probably losing game 1. Anyways. I assume the Scape Shift matchup is a bit rough. I can't say that I've played it a terribly large amount. I played against it twice in the fandom event, and I went like 1-1. But like, all the games that I won, I felt like I had to run quite hot in order to win. Like, this card is just a huge nightmare for this deck. Yeah, atrocious about Deputy. I should try adding a couple Deputies. Kanye, where do the Deputies go in the list? What do they replace? Like maybe a Hostage Taker and one Taker main and one Despark side. That kind of makes sense. Alright, well. Moving swiftly on. Can you imagine if Ferocidon were legal right now? That card is banned for a reason. I'm banned for Ferocidon, you cowards. Oh my gosh. I was actually bringing in Elderspells against this deck even though they don't play Planeswalkers. Because it's a way to like ultimate your Teferi, and that gives you a chance of beating them ever. Can't remember what I was warding out. Let's take a quick look at this guide. No, BBD just hasn't listed Gate Shift. Awesome, awesome. I think Little Teferi's pretty good for fighting Veil. We do want the Kaya's Wraths. I'm just gonna cut all the bad cards and then like add some of them back in, I think. So those are the bad cards, right? Everything else is pretty good. Hostage Taker's not great, but it can hit Krasis. So I probably want Noxious Grasps over any of the other potential removal. Because it hits like Ceratops and nonsense like that. Then I get to add one more card back in, which I guess is just a Guardmage. Or an Oath. Alright, let's try this. matchup makes you want Liliana specifically for the Elderspell ult thing. Yeah, that's reasonable. That just means that you end up playing Esper Control instead though, right? If you're really invested in the Elderspell ult plan. Alright, this is fine. Like, the Esper Control deck is much better at ultimating its Planeswalkers. Because you just play more Planeswalkers, and you have, like, something like Search for a Scanter to help dig towards them. So we are not taking Arboreal Grazer. Playing against the deck that you can currently see on screen, Mimi. We're actually pretty okay with the Prison Realm, because you can like bounce it with Teferis and do nonsense that way. I kind of want to take either Rejuvenator or Teferi. Rejuvenator's pretty annoying for like pressuring Planeswalkers. That's fine, Mimi. I was being needlessly sarcastic. I think I'm taking the Rejuvenator. And then next time I Thought Erasure, I'm probably taking the Teferi. If they haven't acquired anything else nice. Incoming Slovers. I mean, Rejuvenator digs for field, helps them hit lands, right? Also, like, picks away at the Planeswalkers. I think it was actually just the best card there, somehow. Strange world to be in. So now I just take Teferi, because it keeps digging towards their land drops. Duress. Normally I would want that, but would in fact prefer a white mana source. Okay. I guess we're both having similar problems here. That's pretty good. Is it weird? I kind of want to Noxious Grasp this. Because if I draw a land, I think I'm snap minusing my Teferi. I kind of need my Teferi to stick around for this Elderspell. I know this looks really, really strange, but I think it kind of makes sense considering like our game plan with this hand. Or we could just not draw a land again. So we just have to take the circuitous route, right? Maybe not. Maybe we take the scape shift now. Then they circuitous route, but it doesn't do that much for them if they don't find a field or escape shift. I really need lands, but I think I need white mana more. It's obviously really awkward surveilling away a land. I think it's correct. Dimir Control. Powerful new strategy, taking over the metagame. You too can play 2 whole colors of mana. Not even bouncing Slovers to get that powerful ETB trigger all over again. Such disrespect to our sloth friend. On a positive note, we're not like that far away from an Elderspell ult. This is accurate, Socrasta. I'm getting it out of the way before Barcelona. These Teferis do seem kind of loose in Demir, I agree. Should think about something else in their place. Oh Jesus. Strong. Alright, I'm not really sure how I win the game if I do this, but I think it's the only plan I got. Okay. Now I can hold open Dovin's Veto, hope they only have one payoff in hand. That it's not a Crisis. Rip. People are hyped that Scapeshift is finally seeing play. What about the fact that the powerful Elvis Rejuvenator has finally found its home in Standard? I guess I just let this resolve, and I hope to draw Kaya's Wrath. Alright, whatever. I deserve to draw the perfect card by this point. What is the Scapeshift for? You Scapeshift for a Field of the Dead and 6 other differently named lands, and you get 7 zombies. Alternatively, if you get 2 Field of the Deads and 6 other lands, you get like 16 zombies, so on and so forth. I wish we were super dead on board so I could just tuck the Grazer instead. Whatever. I am willing to believe I'm not actually ever winning this game. Let's just move on. Maybe there's a world in which we like top deck Kaya's Wrath, pair it with the Veto, somehow beat our opponent either drawing a spell or a 2/2 every turn for the rest of the game. However, I too like moving on with my life. This hand is great. Easy keep. Play another deck? Maybe in a bit. I'm enjoying this. Also, the more people tell me to play another deck, the more likely I am to just keep playing this deck, you realize. I'm a very stubborn individual. To be honest, yeah, I was about to say, if people say keep playing this deck, that might be the strongest move. I almost just want to block and trade, but whatever. It's probably just incorrect. They have 2 Sorens. I'm so dead. Soren's their good card. How does anyone beat 2 Sorens? You beat 2 Sorens with 3 Sorens. Fair point. Oh, huh. I think I'm gonna keep that. I don't know if it's correct. Means I get to take the Sanctum Seeker and then like work towards tucking the Soren away. Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying the stream. Alright. This is obviously not great for me. Sure. So, definitely have to Thought Erasure here. Take the Sanctum Seeker. I guess the Sanctum Seeker's so bad against the Teferi, though. Maybe I, like, almost want them to cast it. What do I think about humans in Modern? I think humans is clearly one of the best decks. I personally can't figure out how to ever win a game with it, but... I don't know, I think humans did get meaningfully worse. So there is that. Right? It definitely got meaningfully worse with the printing of the Plague Engineer. This is not a 5th land for Teferi, but it might still be good enough to keep. I believe I'm going to keep it anyway. I think it's like just good enough. Because then this can dig us into a 5th land, we can like steal this and cast it. What do I think about humans in Standard? Busted. Clearly. Yeah, I think Jund is like a pretty challenging matchup for humans. I've got that impression. So if I steal this, they have to sack a lieutenant to Lightning Helix this, if they want it back. I'll also just steal the lieutenant, that's probably better, right? Then they get to sack the aspirant instead. So like stealing this makes them sack a better creature. But they have less need to actually sacrifice. I think I'm going to take this. So if they don't sacrifice, I then get to go cast this as a jump blocker, play the Teferi, bounce a lieutenant to buy time. And then I think I'm like actually kind of okay with my position. Or like at least I'm like clawing my way out. Little by little. Yeah, I don't think Red and 6 is broken. I do think it is very strong. At least in Modern I don't think it's broken. In Legacy it remains to be seen. It is like a little... It does have like the Deathrite Shaman problem in Legacy. just double block this. I think I would rather not. Am I excited to play some 4-color Legacy Delver? I'm actually going to be playing more Legacy in the future. So, yes. Very much looking forward to that. Alright, we're going to go down to 2. Need them to never draw a Sorin for the rest of the game. The other option is I can tuck the Lieutenant, and I only take 3. Legacy is great. I love Legacy. I'm a big fan. If I tuck the Sorin, I give myself a 2-turn window to find an Oath of Kaya. Whereas if I tuck the Lieutenant, this is really challenging. I do not know if this is correct. I think it's like, if they brick for a turn and I draw an Oath of Kaya or something, this puts me in an okay spot, I guess. Whereas being on 2 life, or like even a Tyrant Scorn, whereas being on 2 life I have to draw specifically Oath of Kaya, or else I'm just in serious trouble. And like I'm in a spot where I still need to draw a removal spell regardless next turn. Whereas this way if I draw that removal spell I get like actively ahead. Alright, that gets bounced by Teferi, okay. We still need to find a removal spell, but... Ooh, they're gonna kill my Teferi. Makes sense. Okay. So I have to bounce the Sanctum Seeker. I should have had left blue mana open for Narset. That was quite poor. This Vampires deck is impressive. When I was playing against it in the fandom event, they were like, my opponents were like mulling a lot, and even then would still just have very scary draws. We're dead on board. Yeah, we had to draw a removal spell off the Teferi minus. Was what I was hoping for. Right, so we definitely want Disfigures, God Eternals. I was actually bringing in both Elderspells because it felt like the games you lose are to Sorin. Primarily. I guess they have Sanctum Seeker in their list too. So there is a world in which I could leave a Despark in, but I think Despark is kind of garbage against them. Just generally. Aww. Thank you so much for the unicorn and the bits. XDR. Really appreciate it. Why are we not bringing in these against... We have so many more cards against vampires than we used to. I don't know how I fit them all in. I assume this card's good too. Right. Hero seems so good against my opponent's deck, but I don't know how I fit everything in without taking out heroes. So I guess that's what I'm gonna do. I was keeping heroes in the fandom event, but I just have no idea how we make room for them. So this is probably fine. Hero, like, kind of runs into Sorin on the draw to an extent, I guess. It's probably okay just to take them out. I just run the play, but you know. Details. This hand seems awkward. Need a black source and like our top 2 cards to play Magic. Well, I am not going to 5. We have a Kaya's Wrath, so like we have some amount of ability to come back, even if we stumble. Rip Kaya's Wrath. Yeah, there were some slightly awkward hands. These things happen. Yep. Good old Guildgate deck. Everyone's so excited to put all these guild gates in their Scape Shift deck. Didn't they know you could play guild gates all along? I am Minosaur. This is exactly what I'm doing. Right, what are we hostage taking? Zealot is the best thing to take hostage if my opponent does not have a way to kill my hostage taker. And the literal worst if they do. But I'm also really far behind. So it's kind of tempting to just go for like the really high upside play. I am so far behind at the moment that maybe hoping they don't have removal is the best option. I wouldn't do this normal. If like I had a couple spells in hand, I think I would just take just like Flame Tongue Kavu, this vampire token. But I just feel so far behind that I kind of feel forced to make the high upside play. Alright, I'm gonna draw... Wait, did our opponent miss a land drop too? They just have 5 spells in hand. Okay, we're gonna draw... an Untold Magic card. The power of which will be beyond our belief. Planar Cleansing. Yeah, they'd still got to keep the Adanto Vanguard. Alright. I'm gonna look at the hand and then concede. The hand's actually, like, not amazing. But, you know. Also, we're dead. I think Jundar Rock would be a better pick for an upcoming I can speak coherently and pronounce the words which I am reading. The upcoming GP in Mini. I think Ren 6 is just an absurd magic card. Very, very strong. I would recommend Jund, personally. It depends a bit on the results of the PT, right? But I think Jund is like the better deck. Now it has Ren 6. But like I could see a world in which, like, you know, if you see like Burn do really well at the MC, or there are just like a few different decks, like Tron as well. Like I think Black Green is like better against Tron, better against Burn. but I think I prefer Jund in general. Just play humans and truly believe your cards are better than grizzly bears. That is a bold claim, Cambo. Alright, I think after this match I'm going to play some blue. Whatever, shock my hero. I dare you. You have to kill the hero, right? Can't let me untap. Apparently they can. Alright. I'm worried that if I go to combat, they like change their mind and then decide to shock the hero or something, so I might as well do that pre-combat. Got my token, not too sad. Phoenix. It's been a while since I've seen Phoenix. People seem kind of off the deck, mostly. Oh no, my hero. I don't know which of my mono blue lists it'll be. It might just be normal mono blue. I've actually been like pretty happy with the black splash. As well there. I think there are certainly places where it's better. Oh, it's great playing against you too, Andrew. Vampires is nice. Deck has seemed really strong when I played against it. This is like the one thing I kind of dislike about this Esper Hero deck. You run like a really high land count, and then you have cards like Teferi that just kind of like cycle. And you like really have to hope that you get to resolve a big Teferi or a Citadel at some point. Or a Narset. Red green Shron with Ren and 6. Take that, Fulminator Mage. Yeah, I'm still unsure. The impression I get is that the Scapeshift decks have seemed very, very good. But I don't know how much of that is people not playing decks that like appropriately punish the Scapeshift deck. Or people like not having adjusted. You feel like they fall to aggro too often? I could believe that, yeah. Flame sweep, that is all. I mean, the aggro decks are capable of beating flame sweep. Like, not all the time, but certainly sometimes, right? Like, mono red gets in the early damage and then burns them out. Vampires can, like, try and outsize its creatures past flame sweep sometimes. Between, like, Sorin and the Lord and stuff. I don't think it's that cut and dry. Oh, for Scapeshift more than aggro. Yeah, that card seems okay against Scapeshift. The thing is, you do have to have a way to kill the Scapeshift player, right? You can sweep their board, but then they're just going to rebuild in a couple turns. As they hit their land drops. Punish me, Uwu. Oh my god, Mimi. Rakdos aggro ate for a lot of Scapeshift decks. Yeah, I could believe that. Rakdos aggro is the exact sort of thing that seems very good against the Scapeshift decks. God. I like this deck. Every time I play it, I kind of miss Search for a Scanter. Search for a Scanter is so nice. Hey, Rosencrantz. Can you link the deck you've been playing in chat? Yeah, go ahead, Kira. That's a lot of Crackling Drakes. Pretty ill-equipped to deal with one Crackling Drake, truth be told. Innocent flower child, I believe you, Mimi. Alright. So our out is like... Draw... Oh no, they just put a spell in the yard. Okay, we have no outs. Chat. Alas. Am I running Drawn from Dreams? I am not. It seems like something that would be better in Esper Control, but I don't think it's like terribly exciting in Esper Control either. So awkward taking heroes out. Makes it like very hard to kill my opponent. But also this card is like the stone worst against shock. I wish I had Cry of the Canariums. For this matchup. Definitely missing Cry of the Canarium right about now. When am I going to show the world what a powerhouse bag of holding is? Hasn't Cuneo already done that? Maybe I have to keep these in. So I can't play the long game against them without Cry of the Canarium. Yeah, and the Oaths like kinda suck. Do something like this. Citadels are also not great. They do pressure our life total quite well. Okay, like this. Maybe Disfigure's better than this. Like, the only things this is killing are, War Bosses and Electromancers, right? So I might as well just have Disfigure instead. That makes sense. Yeah, Narset is very sweet against them, that's true. You definitely get games where you stabilize with a Narset, and then things get pretty easy from there. Alright. Seems fine. Shred their hand, play some 2-frees. These are a bit worse than Crackling Drake. I don't want to make the Guardmage feel bad. But I feel like it's a slightly worse rate than Crackling Drake. This game's going to go on a while, I'm just going to take the good card. Even if it's not going to be live for a few turns. Take the other good card. Oh, they have a shock ready for the hero already? I'm going to get rid of this. I've already got like a couple creatures, some things to do. I'd rather find a planeswalker that they can't kill as easily. Yeah, Niv Mizzet's not around very often nowadays. Narset and Teferi have both definitely hurt Niv a tiny bit. If they mill a Phoenix, I'm going to be very upset. They kept both. Interesting. Yeah, it's kind of sad. Niv Mizzet's such a sweet card. Deserves to be seeing more play, but Meta is certainly hostile to it. Reminder that Niv Mizzet is literally a cat. Just like, look at that face. 100% a cat. Oh hey, they cast their Elite Guardmage. Alright. Mm-hmm. Yike. Geez, this matchup feels horrifying. I enjoy this deck, but I feel like I say that a lot when I'm playing it. I was saying it a lot during the tournament too. Hope they can't kill my hostage taker, I guess. I've never seen a hostage taker die. I'm sure it's fine. Okay, this timing is awful, right? They should wait for it to get stolen so they draw... I guess they kill me anyway. It makes no difference. They miss out on drawing a card, though. What about their value? What about their value? I don't know. I don't know how to feel about Esper Hero. I know I won the tournament with it like a few days ago. But... it feels like half the matchups I play with it, I kind of say to myself that I feel behind in the matchup. And then, like, I feel relieved when I win. I don't know. Let's try something different. Alright, chat. Are we playing normal mono blue or weird mono blue? Also, it's so impractical that these just have all the same name. I have no idea which is which.